All right, folks, welcome back to the third and final session of the Rump session. And up first is Marcel Teipelt.
Okay, so I made a deal ahead of time with the devil to get already one of the prizes. So I'm just going to put that on and then don't expect too much from the talk anymore. Okay, so can you give me just a quick show of hands? Who of you is not a cryptographer? We have one. Yeah, we've got a bunch. That's good. So you guys need to listen because this is a talk that was designed for you to get an idea of what a resource estimation in cryptography may look like, or how we find out that our scheme is actually secure. We always first have to start with the setting. We always have Alice and Bob, the two dudes that want to send a message. Alice wants to send a message to Bob using her pigeon. And then we have that character there who is Eve, and Eve wants to find out the message. And I'm sure most of us are aware of this XKCD, which basically suggests that buying some kind of tool and beating the crap out of either Alice or Bob is the cheapest way to get to the message. But of course, if you write this down and put it in a paper and submit to crypto, it will be rejected. So what you do instead is you need to work with some kind of formal model, make an analysis, possibly provide some experiments, write that down and submit it, which will of course also be rejected. But if you repeat that sufficiently often, then eventually you'll get a paper here. Okay, and we'll kind of try to work through this a little bit. So first thing we need is a protocol. We're going to go back to the pigeons. So Alice wants to send a message to Bob. And what she does is she takes n many pigeons, sends n-1 pigeons with fake message to Bob, and one of the pigeons will have the real message. Now just give me a shout. Who of you can tell me which one of those is the real pigeon? No, it's not. They're actually all the same. I just copy pasted them. So that already suggests that we need a hardness assumption, and we'll take, the pigeons are indistinguishable. So now we have a protocol, we have a hardness assumption. Next thing we need some kind of protocol. And of course we have this ready in cryptography, and we'll go with the indistinguishability under a chosen pigeon attack, also known as END CPA. And of course that has a game attached. So first off, what you do is you give the Eve access to a set of pigeons. They can choose a pigeon to shoot down, and they will need to be able to tell us if they got a real or a fake message. And of course, once we have a protocol, is hardness assumption and a security model, then we can put up some kind of theorem, which basically says, our protocol is in END CPA secure unless Eve can distinguish pigeons. And of course, there's a proof with this, but I will spare you that just because we don't have time and jump a little bit to conclusions. So that the conclusion of this proof is pretty much, the probability that Eve learns the message is roughly 1 over n. And that means in order to have a valid attack, Eve would need to shoot O of n many pigeons. Okay, so what does that tell us about the cost that Eve has to actually learn the message? Not very well, not very much, because there are a lot more details to it. Some of which might be, for example, we need to figure out how expensive is it to shoot down all those pigeons. She probably needs to buy some arrows. It's also not clear if shooting down all those pigeons is actually the best attack Eve could do. And it's also not clear at all if the attack is feasible. And of course, when you do a cost estimation, you have to go through all of these kind of scenarios and somehow figure out how they impacted by concrete parameters. Now, the next thing would be, of course, to run some kind of experiments, which would also include shooting down some pigeons. But since I'm animal friendly, I didn't do that. And I might leave that for future work. And with that, I end my lesson. Thank you.
Yeah, hi everyone. Before I start, let me quickly clarify that I'm actually not Sharam, I'm Lucas, and I'm giving this talk because neither Sharam nor anyone else from the organizers of the Spring School on Symmetric Cryptography could be here today. So if you know anything about the ICR or symmetric cryptography, you might have heard of FSE, which is the Fast Software Encryption Conference. It's the area conference for symmetric cryptography, and next year it's happening in March. And in the week before FSE, there will be the Spring School on Symmetric Cryptography. And we have a bunch of nice speakers, namely Tim Beine, Anne Canto, Maria Eichels-Eder, Bart Manning, and Leo Perrin. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to contact the organizers. The organizers are Christoph Bayerle, Gregor Leander, Marco Pedicini, and Sharam Razzodale. The email address is on the slides. And yeah, that's essentially it. Let me end the talk by thanking the sponsors of the summer school, namely the ICR and CASA. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Michael Rosenberg. Today I'm going to be presenting a comprehensive and complete overview of the UC framework. By the end of this talk, you should be able to, at the very least, read real ideal proofs, if not write some of your own. Oh, sorry. I didn't eat all day, so I hope it's okay if I have a snack while I'm talking. A lot of our cryptographic primitives that we have security notions for have actually come about from a notion of security over time, right? The notion of symmetric encryption came about, what was originally deterministic, and then people had the idea to make it randomized. Obviously, INDCP became about, which was contentious because there were a bunch of different notions of INDCPA that turned out to be equivalent. And then INDCCA came about. Similarly, zero knowledge proofs, they didn't have a notion of auxiliary input. But it turned out that adding auxiliary input made it more composable with other protocols. So this kind of evolved over time. You can see similar things with oblivious transfer and multiplier computation. The common thread between all of these things is that people got better at modeling the environments that these things existed in. Oh, thank you so much. I have. And as these environments got more complex, people got better notions of security. So the Universal Composability Framework by Ron Canetti. Sorry, I feel crazy. This is all carbs. I haven't had protein all day. Essentially says you want to model these environments generically, and when you do so, you get a notion of composability that ends up, or notion of security that ends up being composable in arbitrary scenarios. So this is usually in partial authentication, encryption, commitments, and multi-party computation. And the way that these proofs generally work, sorry. I hope there's not distraction. You define the ideal functionality of the protocol that you're looking at. So this looks like, the idealized notion of the protocol. This looks like an API of some sorts. And then you define a simulator with given access to this ideal functionality, we'll be able to simulate a real execution of the protocol in a way that is indistinguishable from any arbitrary bounded, or any arbitrary environment with, some like probabilistic polynomial type. So let's get started with Turing machines. An interactive Turing machine is essentially just a Turing machine like you know about, but it has some extra tapes and some extra instructions. So it has an identity tape. You can think of this as just an identity string and also a combination of the code. So the extended identity of an interactive Turing machine consists of both of those things. You have an outgoing message tape, which is when Turing machines have to talk to each other, they write to this write-only outgoing message tape. Oh shit. Sorry, I wrote these in March. I'm gonna. We will. I don't think we'll need this. Oh shit. Sorry, I don't feel well. I really hope this is not distracting. Okay, I'm running out of time. We gotta go through this. Shit. I'm sorry, we really needed some of this. Okay, all right. So I spoke to Ron Canetti and he gave me some slides. This is from a lecture that he gave at the Weizmann Institute about the universal composability model. I didn't look at these slides in advance. I figured we can look at them together and kind of figure out, learn at the same time how this thing is used in practice. So I'm starving. Yeah. Okay, no. We can use a dogmatic stuff. It means a simple example. This is obviously Alice, and this is Bob. Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, it looks like Alice knows W, Bob knows X, such that some predicate P is satisfied on X and W. Okay. We can get through this. Oh, okay. So this is the non-interactive zero. Sorry. This is the one sec. That's better. This is a non-interactive zero-knowledge proof protocol. So, okay, and Bob obviously verifies the proof. So I guess we're going to get an ideal functionality and then go through this protocol, go through some protocols and see how they simulate this ideal functionality. Fuck. Why does it say F Nizik? That's written in Hebrew. It didn't have to be. Okay, you know what? Okay, never mind. This was stupid. This was so stupid. I really wanted this to go well. Okay, let's just skip to the end. Okay. I wrote a poem. And I'll leave you with this. In cryptic realms where numbers dance and algorithms weave their silent trance, a concept rises, born safe and ready, universal composability by our hero, Canetti. From complex framework to shallow shell, a promise is kept even in parallel. For bounded adversaries in every environment, UC protocols are there to rely on. So let the cryptographers sing and cheer, for UC brings security near. With the harmony of proofs and our future at stake, come see me on Thursday, where I talk about Pake.
Hi, I'm Tiger. So this unfortunately is another one of those serious talk, but I've shown this work to a few people and some of them thought it's obvious. So, to some of you, this might be just a joke. Okay, so So the work is on a security encryption counterexample from a bigger cycle to smaller cycles. We began defining what a length-time encryption cycle is. So length-time encryption cycle uses n keys such that the first public key encrypts the, wait, I want to read it. Oh yeah. Yeah, so a length-time cycle uses n keys such that the first public key encrypts the second secret key, and so on until the nth public key encrypts the first secret key. And length-time encryptions of zeros is just encrypting zeros. And a counterexample is where we find a pi, encryption scheme pi that is CPA secure, and length-time encryption cycle is distinguished from an encryption of zero. And in public key, of course, we just give them the public keys. And in a symmetric key setting, this is quite trivial because we can define an encryption function where it tries to recover the key from the message. And we'll always succeed with encryption cycle, and it will be unable to do that with an encryption of zero. But finding counterexample in the public key setting is harder. Yeah, and often uses LWE and IO, which stands for input output now. So my contribution, or our contribution, is that using an n+1 circular insecure scheme, we can construct a 1, 2, 3, all the way up to uncircular insecure scheme while maintaining CPA security. So for those of you that have worked in circular security, and from what I've been, doing all the socials, it's not many of you, you might care about the key space and the message space. So yeah, the key space and the message space of the pi prime that I'm constructing relies on the public key length and the secret key length of the n+1 circular insecure pi. So here we will show a concrete example where we construct a 1 and 2 circular insecure scheme from a 3 circular insecure PKE. So we began by calling, by assuming there's a pi that is 3 circular insecure. And then we construct pi prime by first calling the encryption, the key gen of pi 3 times. So we would have PK0, SK0, all the way to a PK2, SK2. And then we create a ciphertext S, where S is PK0 encrypting SK2. And the public key of pi prime is PK0, PK1, PK2, and S. And the secret key of pi prime is SK0, SK1. And the encryption function of pi prime would compute C0 and C1, where C0 is PK1 encrypting M0, PK2 is encrypting M1, where M0, M1 is just dividing the message into 2 equal parts. And it returns C0, C1, and S, where S was the last part of the public key. And the decryption, well, you can figure out it's cracked. So something nice about this construction is that it maintains CPA security. And if you read the slide, you can trust me on that. So how it is insecure is that for a length 1 cycle of pi prime, we can in fact find a length 3 cycle of pi. So this means whatever distinguisher used to distinguish length 3 cycle of pi can be used to distinguish length 1 cycle of pi prime. Similarly, with a length 2 cycle of pi prime, we can find a length 3 cycle of pi in this. And again, this means we can use whatever distinguisher of pi to distinguish length 2 cycle of pi prime. Yeah, and thank you. That's talk.
So I'm going to talk about additive homomorphic encryption with perfect security and two-party computation. So basic concept is multiple plain text key pairs mapping to the same ciphertext, which enables information theoretic security. I have a secret key additive homomorphic encryption scheme, which has this property of the mapping multiple plain text key pairs mapping the same ciphertext. And that's what gives it the perfect security. And then there's the Rothblum result, which I'll discuss in a minute. And then you can get a two-party computation protocol from this. And then scaling can scale via encrypting separate parameters for sub-circuits. So this is the basic concept, multiple keys in plain text, mapping all to the same ciphertext. So a very simple example, a 2-bit plain text, 01. If you have a secret key with base 17, modulus 31, the encryption. So 0 would be encoded in an even number, E1, and 1 would be encoded in an odd number. And then, so say 12 and 15, you multiply the base 17 times 12, you get 18. 17 times 15 is 7. And so you get this ciphertext 18.7. But there's other plain texts and keys that map to the same ciphertext, 01, plain text 01 with key base 16. 16 times 5 is 18. 16 times 14 is 7. So you get the same ciphertext. And then same with 00, there's another, you get, you can map that to the same ciphertext as well. So that's the basic concept. And so Rothblum's result is given a secret key homomorphic encryption scheme, you can get a public key encryption scheme, but that doesn't apply to our scheme since his results require a certain number of ciphertexts under a given key. Our scheme doesn't support that number of ciphertexts, so it's much fewer ciphertexts. And so the basic result, again, is a secret key additive homomorphism with perfect security. And then you can construct two-party computation where client privacy is perfect by leveraging the additive homomorphism, and the server privacy is based on subset sum. And then scaling, you could scale also by, as the plain text vector grows, the modulus parameter grows exponentially. So the solution to scaling is divide the circuit into sub-circuits, encrypts separately for each sub-circuit. Thank you.
Hello. Hi guys. So it's my Rump session. Woo, it's me. I'm gonna be talking about the cryptographer's Rump session on the EU Digital Identity ARF. Don't get too excited because this is a very serious talk. I'm a very serious person. So what is the EU Digital Identity Wallet? So the EU wants to deploy a digital identity for its member states. This is actually like this is the real slide, by the way. This is like real information. Just so you know. And so this regulation, like it's a real regulation, actually entered into force, like, earlier this year. And there was a really cool thing that happened where the team that's doing this actually invited some like experts to a video call to ask for feedback on the ARF. And they specifically asked cryptographers for feedback on attestation and zero knowledge aspects of this thing. And so, yay, that's me. I got to participate in this. Woo! Yeah. Oh no, please don't do that. So if you're actually interested in this document where this is like the real feedback and whatever, it's available on a random GitHub. I don't yay for putting things on random public semi-anonymous forums. But so like what's in this regulation? I provided a link if you care to look at it. They actually, so surprisingly, they're really like privacy conscious. And so they were like, hey, we don't want this wallet to collect information about the digital ID. We don't want you guys to we don't want you guys to do anything like other data. And we don't want you guys to allow transactions to be tracked or linked or correlated. And especially we want to enable privacy preserving techniques, which preserve unlikability. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. word what I think it means? Like this thing? Like it's the like, unlinkability is like a very well-studied field for like credentials, but unlikability, oh my gosh, guys, this is the potential for something. We really need to get into this. And so that is why I would like to propose a conference, to get people involved in this very important EU regulation thing. They care about this. We need to work on this. So that's why I'm proposing the newest crypto event, privacy preserving unlikability non-friends, aka PUN. So here you can come meet crypto's worst of the worst. And yes, for the opening ceremony, we are reopening the ePrint forums. We know that you all miss all of the flame wars. And this is our Olympic torch, are the forums. I hope you guys are excited. And what do you want to present at PUN 2024? Great question. We consider new adversarial models, such as honest, but kind of a duck. And malicious, but they like being malicious. They like being, they like being a jerk. And also great power with no responsibility. Amazing. And maybe you have some protocol ideas. Well, we have some protocols for you. Identical without a board. This is, oh, you were misbehaving, but who cares? There's no thing as justice. I mean, there's no ramifications. Anyways, what if you wanted your snarks to be snarkier? You actually need to add some sass to your proofs. And we're going to decide best papers by negative knowledge arguments. What does that mean? It means that whoever feels like they lost the most brain cells loses. Yeah, so get your arguments ready. And so featured at PUN 2024 is going to be the first ever NIST Come At Me Bro Challenge. And also, we're going to decide who gets in by shouting matches. Who is the most adversarial? And this is the first ever free registration for professors and students. The registration is over $1,000. Screw the rules of the ICR. But also travel stipends are available for whoever wants to hire me. I'm on the market. And regular attendees are required to have zero knowledge, which as a postdoc, that means postdocs are banned. And there's a separate polite track if you're a government employee. It's actual zero knowledge talks. And don't worry, we're not doing anything suspicious. We're cryptographers. So if you have thoughts, I don't know if he's in the audience. I specifically requested it, but tell Ralph Zimmerman. He looks like this. You cannot find a photo of him online. He's actually in the audience over there, looking very angry at me, standing up. Thank you, Ralph. If any of the jokes weren't funny, ask him because I ran it by him first. And that's my talk.
Thank you, everyone. It is the last talk. Thank you for choosing attending the last talk instead of drinking beers. Let me introduce our implementation result about practical encrypted LLM. That means not real time. Not yet. So ignore red part. It's my mistake. And then we have several challenges in homomorphic encryptions, memory and computation. We suffered like ciphertext expansion is too large, and then we have very huge key size, and then linear operations are very slow, and then nonlinear operation even more slow on encrypted data. But we have also much slower bootstrapping and innovations. But we are overcome those problems by innovations. Data expansion rate becomes 1.1, less than 1.1. If we have enough efficient bootstrapping, And then the key size is still large, but it's decreasing. And then we have quite good linear operations on encrypt data. For this one, plain text, ciphertext, matrix multiplication is now only 3 times slower than plain text matrix multiplications. It's an amazing one, not 3,000 times. It's only 3 times. If you are interested in this, you can attend the talk in Thursday first session. And then nonlinear layers, we have several works to improve this one, also bootstrapping. To sum up this, now one bootstrapping in CKK scheme takes only 50 milliseconds in one GPU. So you may think about this is only one slot. Is there any other techniques? No, it's just it's not a good GPU. It's just a low-end GPU like NVIDIA RTX. And then, oh yeah, okay. So the one you can processing 20 megabyte multiplication per second, okay. So actually I missed the plus here, not just 20. It's like currently 375 megabyte. Thank you. Okay, so then we can try the end-to-end LLM inference with FHE. So yeah, currently, if you ask a query, the server can learn something from this one. But with the homomorphic encryption, we can enjoy end-to-end encrypted inference. What's the result? We implemented Llama 2 7 billion model, and then the first token is generated in 2.7 minute. And the second one is faster than this. Not real time. It's not real time yet, but it can be used for several applications. For example, encrypted summary. And then encrypted transcribe. You know, the doctor says something, a person wants to take note from his talk, and then it can be used. It does not necessarily be online. And then also fine-tuning is possible with encrypted data. But still, we have several problems to deploy this one in the real world. So usability, regulations, social recognition. But yeah, we have, I think it's time to use encrypted LLM in the world. And then also, I think in the history, we have every year, we had 8 times speeding up in HE computations. So considering those accelerations, those innovations, I expect that after 2 years, it will become about real time. So I hope to see you again in the Rump session of 2026. Thank you.
All right, folks, it's come to the time to give out the awards for the best talks. Now, I'm going to start by giving out the honorable mention. The honorable mention is currently a toss-up between 2 talks. One of them is the talk by Luis Brandau. Luis, are you in the room?
Please, NIST. Oh no, we have something about standardized. NIST, where are you?
Is Luis around?
Can somebody like run outside and get him? No, like Linky, go.
Luis?
Luis, we need you.
He's one of the 2 talks that's in the running for the honorable mention. Luis, is he around still? He's coming? All right, awesome.
Yeah. So
Luis, you're in the running. You're in the running for the honorable mention. Before we give it out, just one question. Technically, psych is still in the running. It's in round 4. Are you going to take it past round 4 and standardize psych? Are you going to standardize psych? Technically, it's still in the running.
This affects whether or not you win honorable mention.
You're not standardizing psych. In that case, the honorable mention goes to Adam, Mateo, and Eli for their three-way soft merge. Congratulations. Great talk.
Okay, so for the best rum session talk, Craig and I actually thought that two talks were absolutely amazing, and we are completely undecided at we cannot decide which one should get first place, and so we would like to take audience opinion, like by applause, who should get first place. And so the two options are going to be, of course, Alexis with the musical and all of the beautiful guest stars. And the second one is our very fun UC explanation. Michael, is it Michael? Yes. Yes, Michael Rosenberg. And so I'm gonna do both names, and please, like, whoever you would like to win, please do your round of applause. So the first one is gonna be Alexis with the musical. Who would like her to win? And so who was such a huge fan of UC they would like Michael to win? Yeah, Mike. Yeah. So both the prizes are the same except for the Seafield jacket. So who is the real winner here if they got a Seafield jacket? Alexis, if you would like to come up and collect the second place prize. Everyone, please, you guys can clap again for Alexis. We absolutely loved I loved the Amit special cameo. It was not even revealed in the submission. Thank you, Alexis. So if our favorite snack eating UC guy is still around, Michael, where are you? We would like to, yeah, Michael, please come up. You have won, first place, whatever that means to you. Woo! And thank you everyone for attending the Rump session till the very end. Woo! The ice cream is still around until 11 because we learned from last year that you guys want to have ice cream after the Rump session. So please enjoy the rest of your time.